lot of people have some performance questions about when they upgrade to the cloud, right, Ken? They're always wondering, oh, if I go to the cloud, is performance going to be good? Is there going to be downtime? What about, speeds of the browser and whatnot? And what have you not recently, but what have you been seeing with different customers and whatnot, whether it's a 20 customer Business Central user or 200?
There's legitimate concerns, right? I mean, we kind of started this whole Business Central online journey, air quotes, right? About 3 to 4 years, 4 years ago. April 2019, right? Was
coming up on 4 years.
Coming up on 4 years since like the big, first version out there, and I think rightfully so. A lot of end users who've been out there, they're running on premise. They're concerned. What is the performance going to be like, right? Like when you're running on premise, you've got the servers there, or you have a cloud server or data center, but you have control over how much resources are allocated. And if it's slow, you can add more. But when Microsoft's hosting it for you, you kind of have to just hope that they're going to allocate enough resources to make sure that the performance is suitable. Mm-hmm. And when you get into databases that are 100 gig or more, or you have 100 users or more, right? This is legit, right? That's a legit concern. So over the past several years, we have helped implement, whether fresh implementations to Business Central Online or upgrades from NAV at various different user levels, right? And usually what you may have seen in NAV on premise is if you have 100 users, there's certain things you don't do because you know that if you do it, you're going to get a bunch of locking messages.
Really?
Because too many people are trying to do too much at the same time, and you don't have enough resources allocated and performance for it, right? So, looking at it at 4 levels. So, 20 users, 50 users, 100 users, and 200 users. We have seen virtually no performance degradation at any user count. So the pages refresh just as quickly. Yep. The reports run just as quickly. However, right? I mean, a lot of people don't want to maybe know how the sausage is being made, but however Microsoft is monitoring the performance of each Business Central Online tenant, they're doing a good job of it because we have rarely, if never, seen locking issues, or that the wheel just sitting there and spinning. Occasionally it does happen if you do something you shouldn't have been doing in the first place, like setting some crazy filters on calculated fields or something, right? But in general, it's been amazing, really, for us to see that when a customer goes live, right? And think about an implementation, right? Let's say you have 100 users. Up until you go live, what's the most number of users you ever had in there at one time? 20? Maybe 50?
Right.
And all of a sudden you go live and you have 100 users all working away.
Correct, yeah.
You expect some slowness there.
Yeah.
Right?
There's nothing.
We haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Which is spectacular.
So I actually wrote a blog post on this a little while ago, which we'll link to in the show notes and on the video and whatnot. And I just want to read the first paragraph because it gives a little bit of background about how Microsoft does this. So when all businesses use Business Central and sign up for it, it creates an Azure database at sign up. Microsoft then creates a compute tier with an intelligent load balancer within this Azure database. So this tier then includes a cluster comprised of 5 virtual machines, and as Business Central begins to utilize more and more resources from Microsoft, their intelligent load balancer balances out the load and provides more resources to whichever tenant needs it. I know it's a little technical or whatever, but in the blog post I break it all down and whatnot and how it works.
Nice.
So there's really no difference between, a company that has 400 users or a company that has 10 users. They should run exactly the same. And Microsoft, we talked about this before, Microsoft will not put a definition to what they consider a big business to be because of this. So Microsoft feels 500 is the same as, a company running 10 users.
Well, that's very true, because if you think about it, you could have a company that has 10 users that has, $500 million in revenue because they sell, some high-priced products.
Luxury yachts.
Jewelry, right? Large farm equipment. Or you could have a 200 user environment with low volume. Same thing, right? Maybe you've got 200 users, but you're doing 20 orders a day, right? Or opposite, I should have said. 10 users with 1,000 orders a day.
Yeah.
That you're importing from a website and you're having to process 1,000 orders or 5,000 orders a day. That could be 5 to 10 users.
Yeah.
So how do you judge what
you can't.
What a large or what a mid-size or what a small business is?
It's just got to be based on.
It's a combination of users and transaction volume.
Yeah, just on how much hardware you're using or whatever you want to call it.
Like you said, load. The ultimate load on that Business Central environment, right?
Yeah, I mean, kudos to Microsoft. I mean, I think when Business Central first came to fruition in 2019, everybody thought the same thing. Eventually it's going to be kind of lower, it's slower and slower. But Microsoft has proven us wrong in every single way.
And those 4 numbers that I gave you, by the way, were all companies that have deployed Business Central within the last quarter here. So
we know
20, 50, 100, 200.
Yeah, so we know that
right.
there's no performance issues.